So hi there friends, it's John again. It seems the gods of live video on Facebook might have me do it today, so I'm making this little video. I've come up to what my sons call, and some of the Terry Hills locals call, Sunset Rock. No, for obvious reasons, because the sun sets over this rock. It's an absolutely beautiful spot here in Terry Hills, and I've come up here just to follow up a little bit on what I shared with you yesterday. I've shared with you already my foray into drinking. I've begun to share with you how Mandy and I met and how we were living together. We met through mutual friends. We were living together. Then Mandy's gone off on a trip away overseas, and I've spent 2 weeks drinking myself silly, knowing perhaps unconsciously that that was the end. Now my idea was this, that I used to have a big blue sports bag that I used to carry all my gym gear in, and because I wasn't doing any of that, I just toss all that out. My idea was that every single bottle that I drank, I would toss in this blue bag. I'd leave it in the ensuite, and I would toss that out once I go to pick up Mandy after a 2-week trip. So for 2 weeks I drank myself absolutely silly, and I went to pick up Mandy at the airport thinking that I'd drop this bag off at the bins at the North of Hawkes River Bridge there. But what does John do when he drinks? What John does is forget. So I've picked up Mandy. It's all very lovey-dovey. It's the beginning of our relationship. We haven't seen each other for 2 weeks. It's ta-da! It's all very lovely, and I've got a barbecue happening, and I'm having one beer. Mandy's having a glass of champagne. She's gone up to that bedroom with her gear, and she's found my bag. And I've heard that intake of breath, and I've gone the same colour as what I'm wearing now, deathly grey. And I'm thinking, oh no, I'm busted. And she's come down those stairs, she's stomped into that kitchen, and she's walked in, she's thrown that bag down on those stairs, and she said to me, "Is there something you need to tell me?" And for the first time, to myself, to another person, and in front of a power far more vast than all of us, a quantum window has opened up. It was crystal clear clarity. I could see me for what I was, which was a garden variety alcoholic, suffering from alcoholism and not doing anything about it. I could see it. And I said to Mandy, "You know what, bub? I think I have a problem with my drinking." That was the first time I had admitted it. Now Mandy is one of the kindest, most compassionate people I have ever met, and she met me with this. She sat me down and she looked at me and she held my hands and she said, "John, there is something far more vast running through you than you can possibly see right now. Sweetheart, you're sick. I want you to get better, and I want to stick around it to see it happen." Now that was the first time that I'd heard, it wasn't the first time it happened, but it was the first time I'd heard somebody meet my behaviour with kindness and compassion. It was the beginning of the end of my drinking. I wasn't to stop drinking that day. I was to begin to frequent the rooms of recovery. And I was a boundary rider, a fringe dweller. I'd arrive late and leave early. I wouldn't do any of the suggested things, but slowly but surely, by osmosis, those days would turn into weeks, and then all of a sudden I'd have to have a drink. And then I'd come back in again. And then slowly but surely those days would turn into weeks, those months would stretch out into years, and 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, into that 7th year when something happened. And what happened in there was that I began not to be honest. I wasn't lying, but I wasn't sharing with a sponsor, and I wasn't sharing with others how terrified I was about how well things were going. All the gifts of recovery were coming back in because I was doing the suggested things. I was frequenting meetings, I was doing service, I was helping others. I was getting some sort of semblance of what those 12 steps mean in my life. But all of a sudden that thought came in, that I was terrified of how well things were going, and I wasn't able to share that. And what was to happen was absolutely terrifying. And I'll get to that tomorrow. It's always good to be with you guys. I really love doing this. Feed me back, hey? Leave some comments below on what you'd like to know about, and I'm going to tell you anyway what I'm going to tell you about. But if you leave some comments, leave some questions, I'll endeavour to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, much love. Now, before I go, Just let me show you the view, hey? Isn't it absolutely spectacular? And I live, Mandy lives, the kids live. We live not 5 minutes drive from here. Absolutely spectacular, isn't it? Yes, 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 yes. So there we go, people. May the sun shine upon you all. And I'll catch you tomorrow, eh? Much love. Bye now.